Let's go to the US now, where Bernie Sanders has enjoyed a big win over Hillary Clinton in the Democratic caucuses in May. Now, he has won 65% of the vote and Mrs. Clinton has won 35%. There was a large turnout in some parts of the state, with queues stretching for half a mile long in Maine's biggest city of Portland. The two contenders have been taking part in a televised debate in Flint, Michigan. The delegate-rich northern industrial state votes on Tuesday. Now, during the debate, they clashed over support for the auto industry, on which many jobs depend in that state.
The money was there and had to be released in order to save the American auto industry and 4 million jobs, and to begin the restructuring. We just had the best year that the auto industry has had in a long time. I voted to save the auto industry. He voted against the money that ended up saving the auto industry.
Oh.
I think that is a pretty big difference.
Well, if you are talking about the Wall Street bailout, where some of your friends destroyed this economy,
you know...
Excuse me, I'm talking.
Let him respond.
If you're going to talk, tell the whole story, Senator
Let
Sanders.
me tell my story, you tell yours.
I will.
Your story is for voting for every disastrous trade agreement and voting for corporate America.
Well, with me is our news correspondent, Reged Ahmad. Reged, I've seen that GIF everywhere. Excuse me, I'm talking. Really heated there. What else did they focus on? I know you were watching it.
They talked a lot about what's happening in Flint, Michigan itself. Now, as a reminder, Flint, Michigan it found out that it was actually drinking toxic water because they changed the supply of the water to the Flint River. The river's toxic, it corroded the pipes, and now there's a section of the population in Flint that has lead poisoning. And once you have lead poisoning, you can't reverse that, and it lowers the IQ of children. So I think I can't really underestimate how big a story that has been, and how much it has been about a failure of government. So they were asked a lot about what they would do if they were president, and they both promised to help Flint in their own way. I actually really expected them to attack the Republican governor, Rick Snyder, a lot more. Now, apparently both did call for him to resign, but I thought that they would go a lot harder on the failures of government and use it as an opportunity to attack Republicans.
So we've got this big vote there in Michigan on Tuesday. Where do the two contenders stand now? Well,
Hillary Clinton is tipped to win Michigan, and Michigan is crucial because there's more than 100 delegates. I think it's about 147. And if they can each get all of those delegates, they're going to do a lot better. Hillary is the front runner, but Bernie could catch up a little bit. And the votes, it's interesting because Bernie Sanders is hoping for that white working class vote, which is there in Michigan, and Hillary Clinton is doing relatively well with the African American community, and that's in Michigan, in Flint, Michigan as well.
So in terms of the numbers, what did they look like?
Okay, well, let's have a look at the numbers on the Democratic side. Now, this is with about a third of states and territories having voted. So the winning candidate has to pick up 2,383 delegates in total in order to actually win the nomination. So Hillary Clinton is in the lead. She has 1,123 delegates, and Bernie Sanders is some way behind, actually, with 484 delegates, but there's still some time.
Okay, Richard, don't go anywhere. Let's just get an idea of what's happening on the Republican side of things. Senator Marco Rubio won the Republican primary in Puerto Rico. Now, that is his second victory in the race to the White House. It comes just a day after the Republican frontrunner Donald Trump said that the Florida senator should quit the race because of his poor performance in Saturday's contest. Mr. Rubio won almost 3/4 of the vote in Puerto Rico to take all 23 delegates at stake. So let's take a look at the figures so far for the Republicans. The magic number for the four remaining candidates there is 1,237 delegates. That is what they need to clinch that nomination. So who has what? Well, the front runner, Donald Trump, he has 384 delegates. Next is Senator Ted Cruz Cruz, who is at 300. Marco Rubio has 128 delegates before counting that win in Puerto Rico. And bringing up the rear is John Kasich with 37. Okay, Reged, still with us here. Now, we have had that big win for Rubio in Puerto Rico, but he's still not doing fantastically. And it's a weird situation because the Republican establishment made it really clear they want him as the guy to beat Trump, but it seems like they might have Cruz.
That's right. The Republican establishment don't want Trump and they don't want Cruz either. And it's actually been a long time since it's been a situation like this. So in the 80s, Ronald Reagan, very successful Republican president, he was an anti-establishment candidate. They didn't want him, but they embraced him. Then followed George Bush Sr. and on, and each candidate really for the Republicans for 25, maybe 30 years has been a pro-establishment candidate. So this is the first time that we've seen, for some time, that we've seen a situation that we have now.
So, I mean, if we have a situation where the Republican establishment have two people they really didn't want fighting it out for the presidential nomination, what does that say about how in touch with they are with the people on the ground?
Some people say that Trump's success, and Cruz's success to some extent as well, is a reaction to the pro-former Republican candidates. The fact that the establishment has selected a number of candidates and it's always their guy. But I mean, there is still a long way to go. We've got the conventions in July, then presidential election in November. So we don't know what could happen. Only a third of the states. But some people, I mean, basically the Republican establishment has to get behind one of them because otherwise one will run as an independent, it'll split the vote, it'll be a disaster. So.
Reged, time is against us. We have to leave it there. Thank you very much.